Today we're going to start in a restorative yoga pose, my favorite one. It's called Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclined bound angle pose. If you have a bolster at home or a pillow or a blanket folded up or some kind of support behind your back, that would be great. I prefer to have a little something extra under my head, so my head's a little higher than where my back will be. So just go ahead and gather a couple props, and we'll also use our yoga blocks if you have them. We'll bring the soles of the feet together. The low back will be pressing up into your kind of stack behind you or your bolster. I'm just going to say bolster. You'll know you can use whatever you want. I like to also have blocks underneath my knees, even if you feel that your hips are very open, just so your hips can kind of relax more. We'll prop them up with something. And again, that could be blocks, that could be pillows or blankets or sweatshirts. A nice big comforter is sometimes a nice prop to have with home yoga. And then we're just going to be reclining back onto this stack, adjusting your pillow under your head. I'm going to put a blanket up over top of me here, so knees are going out wide. And I'm just reclining onto the bolster. Some people like to have their arms wide, reaching out to the sides. Other people prefer to kind of rest their elbows close to the sides of their body and then rest their hands somewhere maybe around the rib cage or the hip points. Just find a space of comfort for you. Keep adjusting until you feel about as comfortable and supported as you desire to be in this moment. And settle on in, maybe closing your eyes, maybe looking in one certain direction. And taking a scan of your body in no particular order, just visiting each part of your body with your awareness, noticing how things are, letting your touch of awareness help you to ease into this relaxation pose, this restorative pose. And this upward facing can be kind of considered a mild heart opener, hip opener position. Just notice if it's bringing anything up for you. Any sense of ease, or sometimes a kind of open position like this might be a little bit too much. If that's the case, you can certainly take more of a constructive rest pose with the legs, where you bend your knees and then stand your feet up at the edges of the mat and allow your knees to come together at the center. Just aiming for as much comfort here as we can. Scanning, noticing. Take a load off. And then taking a moment to briefly review your day so far. Have you had more or less a normal-ish day, or have there been any surprises or delights or anything else in between? Just kind of taking stock now of how your day has been. And letting that inform your practice today. So maybe choosing to make certain adjustments, or kind of, I like to make little promises to myself if I've had a rough day that I just have all the permission in the world to take it easy, use extra props, skip things that don't feel right. Or other days, if you have felt particularly sedentary or not had a lot of movement in the day, maybe you kind of want to amp it up a little bit. Just seeing what's coming up for you here for the next 5 or so breaths. Just a couple more breaths reflecting. We'll do a little bit of breath work here. So we'll inhale through the nose, sigh through your mouth. We'll do that 2 more times. In through your nose, sigh through your mouth. 1 more like that. And now we'll reverse that. We'll inhale through the mouth and exhale through the nose. 3 times total. In through the mouth, out through your nose. 1 more. And then coming back to a steady, normal breath, whatever that looks like to you. If you're in the habit of nose breathing, which is a very good habit to be in, then we'll resume some nose breathing, just in and out through the nose. If you find it difficult to breathe through your nose or you feel congested, I highly recommend checking out for yourself some nose strips, those like breathe right nose strips. Those can be so good to help us, those of us who have a difficult time breathing through our nose. But of course, make sure to do your own research, check in with a doctor if you need to, before taking any of my advice. And 1 more big breath in and out here. And of course, if you feel like staying, you are welcome to stay here. If you're starting to feel ready to reawaken, let's slowly start to wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe kind of rolling the eyes around before you open them. And circling out the wrists. Any other little movements that come to mind as we awaken the body. Go ahead and help your knees up to the center. Just letting the props kind of fall to the side. We'll turn, or we'll press our way up here to a seat. So just slowly rising up. Take all the time you want. You might choose to sit up on your bolster or props that you have, because we'll be in a seated position here for a couple of minutes, or coming to a cross-legged seated position, your choice. Tenting the fingers out to the sides, let's sit up nice and tall, lengthening upwards through the spine, maybe closing your eyes just for a moment here to feel into your sense of effort and ease, creating some kind of balance there. We're not trying too hard, but you do have a little bit of effort keeping the spine straight. And then with your next inhale, let's reach the arms around and up. Option to look up as you join your hands overhead. And then exhale to lower your hands down to heart center with a tuck of your chin. Inhale, hands reach high, gaze might follow. Exhale, reaching around and down. Let's do that a couple more times. We're inhaling to reach up. Exhale, hands join in front of the heart. Inhale, reach high. And exhale, reaching around and down. All right, we're gonna inhale and reach up one more time. Exhale, hands lower to heart center. And then just pause here, breathing like normal. Tuck your chin down toward the center of your chest and let your shoulder blades kind of melt down your back. Just checking in with the back of your neck now. Slowly roll your right ear toward your right shoulder, starting to feel a nice little stretch through the left side of your neck. Pause here as long as you'd like, and then at some point start to make your way to the other side by dipping your chin down to the center of your chest, and then rocking your left ear toward your left shoulder. And again, taking a moment to pause. And notice, this time the right side of the neck should feel a little bit of stretching happening here. And if you'd like to go side to side a couple more times, just do that at your own pace. Side to side. At some point soon, bring your chin back down to the center of the chest. Waiting for your next inhale to come. When it does, reaching your hands up and overhead. And then exhaling to sweep the arms around and down. Good. Let's take a twist toward the right. So the left hand comes to the right knee. That right hand sweeps behind you, helping yourself to sit up nice and tall with the spine kind of stacked up upon itself so we're not leaning over. Take a big breath in as you once again lengthen upwards. And then exhale, find a little twist over that right shoulder. With your inhale, unwind just enough for a nice full breath in. And exhale, twisting toward the right. One more time on this side, nice full breath in, unwind a little. And exhale, twist. Breathing like normal now as we switch sides. The right hand coming to the left knee, the left hand propping you up there, sitting tall with your inhale. And exhale, little twist to the left. Try not to force it here. Inhale, unwind. Take a breath in. Exhale, twist to the left. One more time on this side. Inhale as you unwind. And exhale to twist. All right, breathing like normal. Come back to center. All right, let's come to hands and knees next for cat and cow. So knees kind of below the hip joints, hands more or less below the shoulders. Let's spread the fingertips out nice and wide, flattening the palms to the floor. With your inhale, let's lift the head, finding our cow pose, lowering your belly, lifting your gaze. And exhale to round your spine, tuck your chin, pressing the floor away, finding your cat pose. Inhale, cow, gaze, and tailbone lift as the belly lowers. And exhale to round your spine, tucking your chin, cat. Keep flowing now with your own breath. Inhales and exhales, cat and cow. As always, you are so welcome to add on your own flair, little twist or turn, or any little movements that just feel fun or interesting to you as you warm up your spine, warm up the wrists. A lot of stuff working here. The shoulders are getting involved as well. And whenever you're ready to move along, we will find our way to extended child's pose next. Knees out wide, big toes touching. Start to sink your seat toward your heels. If you want more of a restorative effect today, you might bring your bolster or stack of props underneath your chest as you lower your way down. You might come to your forearms to rest, or maybe you walk your hands out toward the top of your mat and then sink your head and chest toward the floor. And we're here for a few nice slow breaths, letting the low back find space. Taking enough time here just to kind of notice, what is this downward facing position? What kind of effect does that have on you? If you're using a bolster or props today and your face is turned in one direction, go ahead and switch which direction your face is resting on. We're about halfway through. Just about 2 or 3 more breaths. Taking your time as you slowly come back up to your tabletop position. We will get in place for downward dog. So if you have your blocks again, we will bring those up to the top. Spread your fingertips out nice and wide. Grip into those blocks, curl your toes under. And let's do this kind of in slow motion today. Let's try to lift the knees. It's a little bit of work here. It's a lot of work here. Slowly transitioning to your downward dog. Lifting the tailbone high. Pushing through your hands, reaching through your shoulders. Find your breath first, and if you'd like to pedal your legs out, go ahead and start bending and straightening opposite knees. You could do that at the same time, really. You could bend both knees, straighten both knees, or any other variation. I like to encourage creativity, so I think you all know that by now, if you've been coming here for a while. So get creative if you want. One more big breath in. One more big breath out. With your inhale, bend your knees and look up toward your hands. Exhale, step or walk your hands behind your blocks. Ragdoll, forward fold. Letting your upper body be nice and loose here. A little bend of the knees or a nice deep bend of your knees as you let the upper body just kind of sway a little bit or be still. Maybe you nod your head yes and shake your head no a couple times. If it ever feels like too much to be kind of upside down like this, you could always find a halfway lift position and still get a little bit of that hamstring stretch. One more breath in and breath out. We're going to bring a block or two to the center of the mat. You might stack the blocks if you'd like them to be a little higher. Let's bring the left hand to the stack of blocks just in the middle at the top of your mat. And then pull that bend the left knee first. Then we're going to pull that right hand across the left arm, up and across the collarbones, and then reach that right arm high. Circle out your right wrist a couple times, both directions. Your gaze might be up toward that right hand or just straight out to the side. Taking a couple of deep breaths. Notice where you're feeling and what you're feeling. Good. And then we're going to lower that right hand down to your stack of blocks, switching sides. So we're straightening that left knee, bend through the right knee, and then pull your left hand back across and up the right arm, across and up the collarbones, and then all the way up. Circling out your left wrist a couple times both ways up here. Breathing. One more breath in. And breath out. Both hands coming down toward the floor, toward your blocks. Bend your knees a little deeper and then slowly start to rise up to stand. Taking your time. All the way up to stand at some point soon. Once you get to the top, take a little bit of intuitive movement here or a little bit of shaking. Maybe a little bit of circling of the shoulders or bouncing of the heels on the floor. Just some intuitive movement here. So if the legs want to shake, they can. If you want to take a little dance break, you can. If you just want to sweep the arms around a little bit. Just about 2 more breaths here of intuitive movement. Getting the circulation flowing a little bit up here. Okay, let's come up to the top of the mat now. Let's stand the feet at the top with the feet somewhere between hip width distance apart and big toes touching somewhere in there. We hope feels nice for you. Let's spin the palms to face the front of your space. Engage through the core a little bit so the rib cage isn't too open here. With an inhale, reach both arms high, hands overhead. With your exhale, let's side bend to the right. So the right arm lowers, the left arm reaches. We're switching sides. We're inhaling to reach high. Exhale, side bend to the left. Left arm lowers, right arm reaches. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, side bend to the right. One more time. Inhale to the center. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale to the center. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, half tuck of your chin. Exhale, lower hands to the floor or blocks. We're stepping that right foot back first, and then your left to your high plank, knees up or knees down. Just one breath in here, strengthening. And exhale, lower your chest down to the floor. Let's set up for 3 rounds of our flowing baby cobra. So we're spreading the feet out a little bit here, pressing down into the tops of your feet so much the glutes fire on, the thighs start working, the knees kind of pop up off of the floor. With your inhale, lift your head and chest using the strength of your core and muscles around your spine, and not so much your hands. You might even hover them up off of the floor. And exhale to lower everything back down, softening. Inhale, lifting to your baby cobra. Exhale to lower. One more time. Inhale, baby cobra. We have the option to stay lifted here for your exhale. One more inhale if you're still lifted. And exhale, lower down. One breath of rest as you continue to soften. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale, press your way up to tabletop. And exhale to child's pose with the knees a little closer together this time. One big breath in and out. Inhale, rise up, tabletop. Grabbing those blocks if you'd like as we get ready for downward dog on the exhale. Big breath in and out. Keep breathing here as you imagine what a real dog does when they do this pose. They usually don't hold it for too long, usually after a nice nap to reawaken. Following your breath, with an inhale, bend your knees, look up toward your hands. Exhale, step your right foot forward first, and then your left. Pro tip, you can always just step up to the middle of your mat and then walk your way to the top if you want, or if that's a little easier. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press down through your feet, root to rise. We're inhaling to rise up, eventually joining palms overhead. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Take a couple of moments to find your center, making sure that your breath is flowing. creating some kind of sense of balance here between effort and ease again. Just always kind of monitoring, am I trying too hard? Maybe I can soften the grip on the need to over effort. I think it's quite an unlearning in the world right now, especially here in the United States. A lot of effort is put on going, 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 as we know. So just for now, loosening the grip, just letting this moment of standing and breathing feel like plenty somehow. Let's take a clearing breath in together, inhaling through your nose, sighing it out. Inhale, reach both arms high. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come to the floor or to your blocks. We're stepping the left foot back first and then the right. Back to that high plank. Knees up or down. 2 breaths this time. Inhale. And exhale. Welcome in that little wobble if you start to feel it. Inhale. And exhale, lower the knees, move those blocks to the side if you're using them, and lower your chest. Let's do 3 more rounds of our baby cobra. We're inhaling to rise up, head and chest lifting. Check to make sure that your glutes are working. And exhale, lower down. And we're pressing the tops of the feet down a lot. That's how we get the glutes working. We're inhaling to rise, baby cobra. Exhale to lower. One more time. Inhale, baby cobra. This time we have that option to stay lifted here for an extra breath. So we're exhaling as we lift. One more breath in here. And exhale, lower down. Take a breath, softening. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, press your way up, tabletop. And exhale to child's pose. Take a couple of nice deep breaths, sending your awareness, sending the breath to your mid or lower back. See if you can create a sense of stretch or expansion in that area. With an inhale, let's rise back up to tabletop, getting those blocks under your hands if you'd like, and then exhaling to your downward dog. 3 breaths here. Once again, just calling to mind a picture of a dog, a real dog, doing this kind of pose. That's kind of the feeling I get, is like, we're waking up. Getting the body moving again. Once that 3rd breath rolls through, let's take an inhale as we bend the knees, look toward the hands. Exhale, step the left foot forward first and then the right to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Press your feet down a lot. Inhale, rise up. Joining your palms overhead. Exhale, hands come down to your heart center. Take a few moments here again. Completely focused on the here and now. So when thoughts pop in of the past or the future, just kind of shoo them to the side for now and focus maybe on one of your senses, the rise and fall of the chest with the breath. Practicing presence, practicing focus. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose and a sigh through the mouth. Go ahead and blink your eyes open. We're going to grab a block or a prop of your choosing. If you don't have a yoga block, but you have a book, you could choose that. We're going to do a little playful balancing series here. We're going to go to the back of your mat. We'll do a little traveling balancing where we go from the back of the mat to the front of the mat. So just start at the back here. Take a little moment here to shake the legs out and just get ready to balance. If you're up for it today, we're gonna place the block just on top of your head. See if you can get it to balance there. And once it feels like it's balancing, maybe bringing your hands down. Okay. So we have a new point of awareness here as we balance. So, of course, trying to keep the block on your head, but if it falls, no big deal. We'll just start again, placing it there. So start to pay attention to the bottoms of your feet. And of course, we can't look down to see the feet. So maybe just wiggling the toes, almost like you're making an imprint of your feet in some nice sand or maybe some nice clay or whatever feels interesting and nice for your feet. Just kind of pressing them down, getting your bearings. And we're going to shift the weight of your body over toward the right foot. And let's see about picking up the left heel. So the right or the left toes are still on the floor here. We're just finding a one-legged mountain pose with the toes down first. And with this new prop scenario with the block on our head, maybe this is enough today for your one-legged mountain. If you think you can balance a little more, maybe you're lifting that left knee up now to about hip height. Let's see about that. Take a breath in. With your exhale, straighten that left leg. Maybe your heel stays hovering up off of the floor. Maybe it touches down for support. Inhale, one-legged mountain, left knee lifts. Exhale, straighten your left leg, touch your left heel down with just a little baby step here. Let's start to shift all the weight into the left foot, coming up to the tippy toes of your right foot. We're going to add a little hamstring curl here. So essentially you're bending your right knee, reaching your right heel up toward your right glute. Keeping that bend of your knee. Let's see if we can lift that right knee to one-legged mountain pose. You can always bring your knee back or your toe back down if you need to. With an exhale, let's straighten the right leg, spreading the toes out, reaching through the heel. Inhale, one-legged mountain pose, right knee lifts. Exhale, straighten, touch your right heel down, a little baby step forward, shift and step all of your weight into your right foot. Come up to the tippy toes of the left foot. Follow your breath. Use your breath here as we find a hamstring curl. Left knee bends, left heel reaching up and in toward the left glute. Inhale, keep the bend of your knee. See if you can lift that left knee up to one-legged mountain. Exhale, straighten the left leg. Inhale, lift. Exhale, straighten. Step your left heel down, take a little baby step forward. Last time through with an inhale, we're finding that hamstring curl. Bend the right knee. Exhale here. Inhale, transition to one-legged mountain pose with your right knee lifting. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, one-legged mountain, right knee lifting one last time. Exhale, straighten that right leg, touch your foot down, and take a couple more steps back up to the top. We can remove that block from your head. Let me know later how that affected your balance practice today. I feel like it just makes me more like super aware of my whole body while we do that. So hopefully you enjoyed that as well. Let's start to slow-mo come down to the floor. So just maybe maybe folding forward first, and then bending your knees to come down to a seat. There we go. And once you're in a seat, we're going to do one more balancing pose, or cosmic egg pose, which I just love so much. So we'll bend the knees, plant the feet on the floor. You can hold onto your shins or behind your thighs or on your knees or wherever. Puffing the chest up a lot, so we're lengthening through the spine. Lean back slightly. Start to lift one foot up and then the other, seeing if you can come to a balancing point just behind the sitting bones. Keep lengthening up through the spine and puffing the chest up to keep a pretty straight, neutral-ish type of spine. You might stay right here if this feels like a good place today. If you want a little more strengthening or a lot more strengthening, there are lots of options. You could let go of the hands and reach them out to the sides. You could straighten your legs and come to boat pose. You could find somewhere in between or take a couple moments in each variation. Breathing, and even when it starts to feel like a lot of work, seeing if you can just keep your face relaxed. We're not here for too much longer. You choose how long you stay. And when you're ready, slowly lowering down to your back. And you can make this a strengthener too by going nice and slow. Or just get there quickly. You are in control. And when you get down to the floor, just let your body find the floor. Just let go. Maybe even sighing. If you'd like to go into your final rest right now, that would be a good entry point. Otherwise, we'll do a couple more poses here before we sink in. If you're wanting to move with me a little more, let's bend the knees and hug the knees in toward the chest. And then take a little bit of free movement here, rocking some weight a little bit side to side. Maybe you circle those knees a little bit together or separately. Just taking some free movement, creating a massaging or kind of a deep pressure through the low back, the sacrum. I can kind of get into the hip joint a little bit and the glutes a little bit too. If you continue to explore and move, you can kind of target different areas. And then we'll set the feet down on the floor. Let's bring the arms out wide to a T. We'll do an eagle leg twist today. So we'll lift that left leg up and over the right leg. Not like figure four. We're going to have thigh to thigh, knee to knee, like you're sitting in a chair. Lift the pelvis up and then scoot over toward the left edge of your mat. Set the pelvis down. And then allow your knees to start twisting over toward the right. Maybe using some props so you don't go too far into a twist. We don't want to force our way into too deep of a twist. Maybe starting to turn your gaze in the opposite direction or toward the left. Notice how tense or activated your body might be. Sometimes in a stretch, we feel a little bit of that activation, a little bit of that stretch happening, but if your body feels like you're bracing or gripping or holding too tight, just a sign that maybe you've twisted a little too far. And if that's you in this moment, just choosing a kinder variation, a gentler variation, so that our nervous system, so that our body is getting signals that we are safe. We can relax even a little more. And then starting to come back up to neutral, gaze is lifting, knees are coming up. Uncross your legs. We're scooting back to the center of the mat as we switch sides. So now the right leg lifts up and over the left leg, thigh to thigh, knee to knee. Scoot flip the hips, the pelvis over the left or the right side of the mat this time, and then start to lower your eagle legs toward the left. And maybe choosing to gaze slightly toward the right, but only if it feels good or interesting to you. Checking in with yourself on this side. Notice your shoulders, notice your neck, your jaw, as well as the rest of the parts of your body where you're maybe feeling this more. Maybe the hips, the back. Making sure we're finding that nice kind of sweet spot. Just about one more breath in and out. And then coming back up to the center, nice and slow. Uncrossing your legs, scooting your pelvis back to the center. Let's straighten the legs and arms in opposite directions. Long body stretch. Reaching and stretching. Maybe even pointing and reaching through your toes. Maybe circling your ankles or wrists a couple of times. All right, we'll do one more happy baby. So we'll pull the knees up and in, and if it feels good, we're reaching down for the inside or outside edges of the feet, or wrapping the peace fingers, the pointer and middle finger, around the big toes, but kind of locking the big toes in with the thumb. Let's pull those knees in toward the armpits a little bit, and feeling this happy baby. Maybe creating a little sense of joy. Maybe tapping into what you maybe felt like as a baby yourself, discovering your feet. This always makes me want to giggle. I think this, yeah, happy baby just seems like the right the name for this pose. All right, we've got about one more breath in here. One more breath out. Letting go of your feet. If there are any last little movements, poses, or stretches your body wants before final rest, now is a great time to do those, to move into those shapes or stretches. And then whenever you are ready, let's find our way to final resting pose. Maybe Shavasana, corpse pose with your arms and legs outstretched. Maybe constructive rest pose with your feet standing at the edges of the mat and your knees resting together at the center. You can always grab an extra pillow or blanket for your comfort. Maybe you find that pose we started in, the supine cobbler's pose, Supta Baddha Konasana, or Supta BK for short. So just settle on in, keep adjusting, keep finding more props or subtracting props until it feels right. And if you want to sigh a couple of times, that might feel helpful as you begin to rest. And then I will start to name parts of your body. And as I do, with the least amount of effort possible, just bringing your awareness to these different parts, sending your breath to these areas, your awareness, your energy. And as they say, where attention goes, energy flows. So maybe even feeling a little burst of energy, a little surge, gentle surge of energy in these areas. as I name them. So starting at the tips of your toes, sending energy and breath to the toes, noticing any effects. Breathing and connecting to the toes. Nothing else to do but breathe and be aware of your toes. And now the soles of your feet. Both ankles. Calves and shins, the lower half of your legs. Kneecaps and back of your knees. The entire knee joint, both legs. Upper legs, quads and hamstrings. Both hip sockets, hip joints. The entire pelvis. Navel center. Solar plexus, just between the navel and the rib cage. Solar plexus. Heart center, just by the sternum, center of the chest. Throat center, Vishuddha chakra, right at the pit of the throat. Both shoulders and shoulder blades. Entire right arm. Entire left arm. Feel your energy move to the tips of your fingers. Maybe you can even feel some warmth or a little buzz of energy there at the tips of your fingers. Entire face. Right ear. Left ear. Both ears together. Back of your neck. Back of your head. Top of your head. Sense of hair on your head. Back side of your body. Top or front side of your body. Inside your body. outside of your body. And now, for a few minutes, we'll explore this barrier between your body and outside of your body. And as you breathe, maybe you just create a sense of erasing those boundaries between inside and outside of your body, creating kind of a sense of fuzziness around the edges, maybe a sense of unity or connection with everything around you. Just experiment. Fuzzy around the edges. Connection with everything around you now. And once again, feeling your body on the earth. Coming back to your center here. Taking a moment to decide if you'd like to stay longer, and knowing that you sure can. When you feel ready to begin reawakening your physical body, just start with gentle little movements, however it feels right to you. Maybe a wiggle of the fingers and toes. Maybe a rolling of the head side to side. Maybe opening and closing your jaw, swallowing or yawning. Continuing to reawaken with more movement. And eventually choosing either side to roll onto, finding your way to the fetal position. Maybe using that bottom arm as a pillow. And when the time is right, pressing your way up to a comfortable seat. Maybe the legs are crossed. Maybe you wrap that blanket up around you as you join palms together in front of your heart center. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace in our actions, peace in our words, peace in our thoughts. Bringing our hands up, the thumbs up to third eye center. And if it feels right to you, let's take a little bow forward together. Peace.